Hello, this is Alex with In a Pinch Rent It, and today we're going to go over our Bill Jack 55XA drivable boom lift. A few features I want to go over on the before we get started on anything. Always make sure you're wearing your personal protective gear, and a few other features on the lift you want to make sure when you're getting ready to start is you're on a flat level surface. And then there's two latches. There's one here down by the basket, and then there's another latch up here in the front. You're gonna make sure those are always unlatched when you're using it, but latched when you're on during travel. The other thing I want to show up up front here is the charging for the batteries. So when you're at home and you need to plug it in at night or whatever, that's where you're gonna plug it in. The other feature I want to show you is on the other side here. Is the gas tank. It is a gas motor. And it does have an onboard generator. So when you're using the lift, you want to make sure you're on high idle. I'm going to run it in the electric mode though, just for demonstration purposes, but I will show you all the gas features on this lift. All right, now that we got that off, we're going to go down here to our control box here. There's two ways you can operate this lift. One here is on the ground. You have all the same features you do have on the ground as well as up at the basket controls, but when you're using it, we rather you use it up front in the basket. But I will show you the trailer. Oh, pull the e-stop out. That'll run its diagnostics. The trailer mode is on the turn to the left, and then the drivable or the basket controls, you switch it up there. So I'm gonna switch it up to the basket mode, and that'll shoot all of our controls up here. The clip to clip your harness on is on the side of the basket. There's one for you and one for your other person if you have a couple people. You have another e-stop up here in the basket. To start this lift, there's a horn. Well, you don't need the horn, but to start it, but I'll go over some of the buttons here. You have a horn. This is your choke here, and this is your to turn it on to start it. This is your driving mode. You have turtle and rabbit. This runs your turns it to high idle and also runs the onboard generator. And then this kills the engine here. You do have the driving mode here. You have 3 different levels. You can do the front wheels, the back wheels, or you can crab drive it. So that's kind of neat about this feature. These are all your controls for your boom. And then these are all your controls for your outriggers. So when you're going to do the outriggers, you want to always use auto level extend or auto level retract when you're done. Never push them down individually. It's just better to do auto level. So you're going to hold all these down, and you want to hold this down till all 8 of these lights light up and beep. There's 8 lights. All right, check the double beeped and all of our lights are lit up. I'm gonna go ahead and start it from here just so you know how to start it. It's loud, so I'm gonna turn it off that to show once we get going here. But you're gonna hold the choke here, and then this is gonna be your start button here. And then this is to run the high idle for your onboard generator, so it'll always run like this, but when you're running it, either driving it or up in the air if you need to move down, I always recommend turning it on high idle, because that'll give you, that'll recharge your batteries. So you can push that there, it gets it to high idle. Or you can push it again and that'll do the to not idle. Now you always have to select the button here and make sure it lights up and turns green. So you have to just make sure, like the driving and when you're using the boom, there's little lights on here, the indicators that have it lit up. So I'm gonna kill the engine here, so I can go over the features. All right, so when you're going up in the air, the first thing you want to do is push the basket away from the machine, and I'll show you here in a little bit. So I'm going to make sure it lights up and push green. There's also blue indicators and yellow indicators, and that'll tell you which way you're going. The basket will automatically stay level unless you hit that. You know, you might sag or droop out when you're working, so you might have to get that and get your basket re-leveled. But we're gonna push this button here, it's gonna light up, and we are gonna I went the wrong way. So the first thing you want to do before going up is you want to boom out away from the lift. Below there, there's a paddle on that lift there, and that indicator is when you're up in the air. But when you stowed, you want to make sure you're down on that indicator there, or it won't do anything. It's like a safety feature. So you want to get it away from the lift, and then you can select any other feature you want. You know, we can do the lower boom here. So that's our lower boom. We'll switch it to the upper boom. And then we also have the extension. So I'll push that here, and you can extend the lift out. And then you also have a rotation too. So you can rotate the lift and reach wherever you need to be. Now when ready to come down, you want to make sure that you first make sure you're lined up with the cradle on the ground. There's that front piece up in the front. You want to make sure that your boom is lined up there. And just like before, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your basket comes down, so that way you'll latch into that safety piece. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come down with that. That way we're going to hit that safety latch feature down that I showed you earlier. So we're going to come that down, and then we'll bring the boom in. Followed by the lower boom. Oop, wrong direction. Oh, and before you go all the way, you want to make sure you're on there. See, I'm not quite lined up, so I'm going to get repositioned here. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right. Then I'll do the upper boom here. And you want to make sure your basket comes to rest down on that little piece there. And you are all square to go. And now ready to drive the lift. So we're going to go through that. So we're going to do auto level and retract again to get all the outriggers up off the ground. And you just have to hold it down and wait a few seconds. They're all ready to go, so I'm going to start it to drive it. First thing you're going to do is push the choke and then the start. And then we're going to put it in high idle. And then you're forward and driving. There's a turtle and a rabbit. So we're going to make sure we're in turtle mode here. And then you have the toggle switch here for the driving, so this will do your forward and backwards. And then this up here will do your steering for the lift. And your toggles are up front for your wheels. And the wheels farthest away from you are the steering wheel. 55XA drivable lift.